Hello everybody, welcome back to another art tutorial with me, your host Moe'S. I don't usually say my name too often on my channel, but just in case people are wondering how you pronounce my last name, it is Gotro. So yep, we're here again. So if you should know, if you read the description and everything, that I am going to be putting in some buildings. Now, just a second, I gotta go get something. I kind of forgot something before I set up. I'll be right back. So we're good to go for about another hour. Okay. This took me almost a good 20 minutes to set up everything. Now, for my purposes, okay, I went and get my tracing paper. Now, I don't usually advocate for tracing paper, but it's a handy tool to have. Okay. Now, when it comes to doing working in perspectives, I'm going to be putting buildings in here, right? Now, I could easily put a one-point perspective and have everything going to that point as if he's going down that direction, okay? Or I could have it he's at a corner, like there's a corner there, and but that wouldn't work for this type of picture. He's coming kind of straight on at you a little bit. But what I can do is a nice three-point perspective of something a little bit complicated, okay? Now, there's a couple of books you could read, and I have mentioned them before, but I'm going to briefly mention them. The first two, okay, I'll go with these two first. I have Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics and Making Comics. And these are fantastic books. If you're interested in doing any type of work, even if it's not even if it's just comic book stuff. I mean, if you're looking into getting into comic book work, I think these two books are fantastic. These are something I'm going to need to read again, okay, very soon. I've read them like a good 3 times each. But I still want to read them one more time and try to go through the exercises and stuff and really, like, maybe considering getting in, really study it this time. When I get some extra time off, which I should be coming up soon in the next month or so, I'll be getting a little bit of extra time off. I'm going to be taking some time and going through these, okay? But for the purposes of my picture today, and I may not even get the chance to finish it today. I'm only going for an hour. About 1 hour of my time. And so, well, our time, of course. But this is the book I kind of really want to bring up quickly. Is Perspective for Comic Book Artists. Now, I already had a basic understanding of perspective, right? Like, I knew how to do it. I knew I figured it out pretty easy and stuff. But I still needed to get this book anyway because it has great references, okay? Now, it's a cool read. It's done in a comic book form, right? And if you're learning how to do perspectives and stuff, that's a great book. He teaches you all about it. He teaches you about 2 points. That's a 2-point perspective. And like chapter 6, 1-point perspectives. Then there's chapter 7, 2-point perspective. Yeah, well. And then but for our purposes, what I want to try to do, and it's a little ambitious, okay? It's a 3-point perspective. So that's pretty cool. Now, I know how to do it, so it wouldn't be a problem for me. but I'm not gonna. I don't want to really waste too much of my time going through all of that in that way. Okay. So the main reason, I mean, I bought this as a reference book, okay? But the main reason I bought this, right? He even teaches you how to draw circles and stuff. He uses multiple colors in this book, which is great. But he's going along. Is when you get to the end, okay? He kind of recaps it all like a little epilogue. But at the end, what does he do? Doesn't he add a couple of samples? A couple of sample grids, like these couple of different 2 points. The eye in the middle. That's the vanishing point. You can put the horizon here, or pretty much anywhere you kind of want, but. And then there's a different lopsided 2-point perspective. Still the side, and then the cone of distortion basically. And then here's a 3-point, right? I could use that 3-point. That would be a cool one to use. And or I could use that one. That's still a good decent 3-point. I could put it in any perspective, right? And then there's one here for, am I getting that? Are you getting that? Sorry, but that's one for circles. But yeah, there's a 3-point and a 2-point. Well, that's from his book, right? But I did the next best thing, okay? And didn't I go and make my own photocopies of those? And so I have all the ones I need for it, but for our purposes, okay, we are going to go one of the 3 points. Now, it's either choosing that 3 points. I'm hoping you can see that pretty decent enough. Okay, yeah, you can. So there's that 3-point. This is a more asymmetrical 3-point, which can be used in any of the 3 ways. And here's an equilateral 3-point view. Well, this is a more straight on, like where you're looking pretty much like completely. But I kind of do want to go with the more asymmetrical 3-point, where it's the corner is over here rather than here. Now, there are ways for our purposes. Okay, I'm going to take out the sheet. I'm going to take out the paper. I'm going to put this right here for now. Stick that on there. Now, I can take a piece of tracing paper, and this just gives me the grid. Whoop, I took 2 pages there, but that's okay. I'll use the other one later. I'm still going to save that. Now, I put it over. Now, that might be too light for you guys to see. Now, I need to get myself a light board, okay? I need to get myself one of those light boards. And what's a light board? You may ask. Most of you probably do know already. And this is kind of what I found just at a pinch if I ever need it. Boop. Now, it's on, okay? Okay, yeah, you kind of can see it, right? So what I can do is I can take that, and I'm just going to prop it there for the moment. I can put that on top, and it kind of helps me trace things a little bit easier. But as you can see, it's a little too small for my purposes, so I'm going to try to fix that a little bit. I'm not going to use the light board actually. I am going to take the Spider-Man off, or I can use the back of it for now. Yeah, I know there's some blue glitter there. Just ignore that. That was from another project I was working on. So here's my 3-point. Okay. So even before before I even deal with the Spider-Man, we're going to put that 3-point in there. Now I have multiple rulers I can use. I got a steel one. I got this nice long 18-inch one here that has pretty good meters on it. Now I'm not sure how well you're going to pick that up, but yeah, you see my purpose. I use that so often that's great for doing some like comic book lettering. I can get the exact size I want. And I got a couple of these small ones here too that I can use. So for my purposes, this one here will probably be good. The problem with these plastic ones here like this is that they're good when you first get them, but the plastic starts getting edgy, and I could probably find a way to straighten that out a little bit, but it's still pretty straight. But after a while, they start breaking up on you. Now I'm going to draw this pretty big enough, straightforward. Now I'm trying to figure out what angle I want. You can draw it that way, or draw it that way, where he's coming up through the scene. How am I going to want to put that? Do I want to put it like that? Well, you can see that. It's not I know it's not the clearest, but you'll see as I go along that it will work out. So, right. So say I want a building right over here. I'm going to use this line here, and I'm going to put a line right here through this. Now I can extend that line because that's what the rulers are good at doing. Extending lines that you can't really see, that I know there's a line here. So that I can make this part here how far do I want to go up? I'll go up about here, and I make that a part of the rooftop. Yeah, let's put that and then keep the perspective good, and make that like a part of the rooftop. So that's like a building top right there. Now I follow this line right here, and then I got a building on this side now. There we go. And distance is relative because I can make this building like a huge building with small little windows on there, okay? Or I can make this a little bit closer, smaller building, and make this like a big window going. Like I could put a window right here, for example, right? Okay, like that, and that you see that's close up window. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Okay, I have to check it every once in a while to make sure you can see that. But yeah, see now I have a close-up window right there. And is that what I want to do? I think so. For this, yeah. And probably, because of where the Spider-Man is in the picture and where I want to extend that when I turn that around, I'm going to show you a pretty interesting technique that I like to use. Now, where do I want the other building to go? Do I want that to be just right behind him? Do I want to split that in half? Or do I want that to be a little bit more leaning that way? Because it's I'm using a 3-point. There's a perspective that's going down that way. There's a perspective going up that way. And there's a perspective going up that way. So, like, if you could extend these lines going that way, there's a vanishing point up this way, and then there's a vanishing point up this way. And there's a vanishing point up, going down straight down, and that's where we're going to keep the gravity going. It's straight down. That's down is that way. And that's why I want everything to kind of slant that way. I could have turned this around and have it going any which way, but this is the way I chose. So I'm going to put this building back here slightly to the left, and I might even make it a tall building, a little bit of taller building, and that line can extend. I can even extend that all the way across, because remember, some of this line is not even going to be there. It's going to be hidden by Spider-Man. And remember, I'm doing 3 different sizes of paper here. There's this here, my grid for my 3-point perspective grid that I need to get lines in the right direction. And everything else I can pretty much figure out on my own. So, and then when I turn it around, I will be extending all these lines, because you see, it's just about maybe an inch off of this side, another 1.5 inches off of this side, about another inch and 3/4 up on top, maybe 2 inches on top. So it doesn't take the whole page, but it doesn't have to, because I know how to extend those lines if I need to. So I am going to put a window here. A nice bigger window. It's going to... bigger window. Do I want it to be bigger? No, I don't. Actually, I want those... I'm going to erase that. Okay, let's erase that. And it doesn't matter, because once I put the appropriate lines, and you'll see what I'm going to do with that after. Yeah, it'll make sense. Oh, I dropped it. It doesn't matter. I can get it back to where it was. I know exactly where it was. That's the cool thing about it. That, yeah, right there. Now I'm back on target. Now, yeah, I'm going to make smaller windows. I'm actually going to use the grid that's right there. Why, make it a different size and shape when I can just use that as my guide right there. I can put another window right here that will extend off of the paper, but it doesn't matter. I know where to stop it when I transfer it on the other side. So I actually wish I had just a little bit bigger tracing paper. That would make things a little bit easier. I know you're going to have trouble seeing what I'm doing at the moment, but everything will come into view very, very soon enough as I continue. I know that's going to continue down that way. I want to continue these lines, and some of those lines will be erased because I won't need them. It's just so I know where those lines are heading. See, I use these other lines here as guidelines. So I know that this ends here, and I go down this way, and that's where it kind of gets very warped in the picture, but that doesn't matter. It's still all good. And then would it be, yeah, see, as I go down past the cone, yeah, it gets a little bit more warped as I go along, but it still works. I don't need to extend that, that's fine. And okay, if I can extend that now, going down this way. So, and then keep that going this way. Hopefully it will make sense to everybody here. And it's just for my own. Aha, there, and there. That gives me my guide that I need for later. Yeah, actually that works actually very well. That works very well. I'm pretty pleased with that. Let's extend that where it should be. Yeah, okay. You're gonna see later once I take it apart and I show you how it looks. You'll be like, okay, I get you. And then you may be asking yourself, how is you going to transfer it onto the other one? And this one here, how to guess where that other window is going to be down there? Instead of guessing, I can just figure that out right now. Extend these lines down here. I know my hand is in the way, but you see, okay, I'm extending the lines further because my grid that I'm using that I photocopied right from the book is only a certain size. It's only going up to here. And so in order to get the other lines to where I want them, I need to use the other grid and just extend those lines to where they would land on my tracing paper. So I might need to use a longer ruler for that. That should be right there, yeah. No, that would be double, right. So that would actually be, where would that extend? How far did, oh, I don't see a grid for that. It stops after that. Or does it? That's fine, actually. Well, at least I know where the top part lands. There is ways of figuring out the rest. Alright. But surely I can just take a little bit of an educated guess of where that's going to go. I say it's right, yeah, pretty much right there. I'm good at these things, and yeah, I don't want to get rid of that yet, that grid yet. So I got one building here on this side and one building on that side. We can't see the bottoms of it, but that's fine. I don't want to see the bottoms of it. Okay, anything else I want to do to it? I'm just going to leave it at that. I want to add that little bit of a top to this so we can see where that is. Yeah, add that top to it. That line can extend all the way up here. Now, and is that all I'm gonna need, or do I want to? See, I'm not using any city references. Okay, so okay, let's take that page out, and you can see what I'm left with is that. And so when I turn this over after, okay, and yeah, I gotta extend those lines. I am actually going to keep it there, do I? See, that's kind of not working, but it is. I can keep that in the corner and extend from that. So right here in this corner, for what I have in squares there, I can figure out where all the other squares are going to be. But yeah, that's another thing. But for my purposes, though, I might have to turn it around this way, which actually works better in my favor. Yes. All right. All right. I am definitely not going to be finishing this to today with this session. I mean the buildings, that is. This is just my first kind of attempt through it. Now, how do I want to do this? Okay, I might have to leave for a second and come right back, or I could use this pen. There is a technique I use, okay, that if I want to get it in the right spot. Now, when you put pencil on the tracing paper like that, right? And I had drawn on that side. I turned it around, and when I put it on here, it's going to be a backward image, but it's buildings, just random buildings, so it doesn't matter. And so I can start rubbing on. I'm using a pen to see to distinguish where I've been, so I know not to go over the same place twice. And what I'm doing is I'm rubbing on the graphite, basically, or lead. It's graphite now, but it used to be lead pencils. But people were getting a little bit of lead poisoning because they kept on putting the pencils in their mouth, you know. And so now it's basically graphite that they put in for pencils. But anyway, to say that I can rub it on, and can you see that? I can rub it on, and there, and now I have my guide for my buildings. And you'll see it. It's just a couple of buildings that I don't need a lot. And what's in the background, I can just make that whatever, because of the point of view, we're looking at the horizon line would be right here at that line. So right behind him, I could probably do some more cityscapes, but we'll see. We'll see what I want to do. And yes, so I'm gonna, now that I got those two lines, I'm gonna put this window in, and the lines that I don't need to keep in the picture from my tracing, original tracing, I can just not transfer that part there. And it gives me just enough of an impression that I can continue from there. And then I can start adding details to the windows. And I may want to go and try to find some reference materials to find, like, to make sure I'm putting appropriate windows in there that look legit. So yeah, but that's going to be between videos on my own time that I'm going to look at references, because we're not going to get to that point today where I'm going to put too much thought on detail. All we're doing right now for today is putting lines, grid lines in of where, and see lines where his body's going to hide it. I don't need to draw that. I just need to draw in front of where it's going to go. So yeah, you can see it. I know it's a little faint, but it's there. So that's a little bit of a process. If you know, and I do have some, but I also do have graphite paper hidden around here somewhere. I need to dig out. I'm going to be doing a major spring cleaning there coming up in the next couple of weeks. In the next 2 to 3 weeks from now, I really want to take a day and start throwing stuff out. Things, and also keep taking inventory, maybe putting some stuff up for sale, things that I can sell. I have a lot of like little bit of junk here and there, things that, like, you know, not necessarily a pack rat type of thing, but just enough that it that I have to question whether I want to keep it. I really want to organize my place. I really want to get this place cleaned up, looking nice. I want to know where everything is somehow. You know, that's always a major task. But I really want to organize, because there's things here and there that I know I have, but I can't really find them right now. I don't know where they are. So, and now something about my art table. It's really a high angle, okay, because of the way I fixed it, and I don't really want to put it down too much. Like, it's never going to be able to going down flat. I won't be able to do that. But right now at this angle, if I press too hard, see, it wants to. Oh, it just went to even a higher. And that and any little pressure there. So I don't want it on that one. I want it on the second next one. Yeah. So that I can have. It's just on the bottom here. It wants to. I have to be careful with the pressure on it so it doesn't push back. But I might actually come back to my table and reposition those brackets a lot closer to the bottom, actually, so that I can put it down if I need to. And yeah, I probably should have did that in the first place. There is room there for me to do it without disturbing what's going on here. And yeah, and then I need to try to figure out where that other third focal point, the vanishing point is. I meant to say. And so yeah. So there is a horizon line. I'm going to just draw that in very, very loosely. But no, actually, before I do that, I need to extend this line going up. So I can draw that up there. I also want to extend that line right there up here. Extend that line because I'm keeping that building going in the background behind him. So we're going to go up past them here. So as long as I'm lining that roughly about right. Yeah, there we go, and that should. Yeah, that should measure out properly when it's all said and done. Here's where the tricky parts start coming in. Now, I don't need to use this anymore. I can set that aside. I still want to keep it for reference, just in case. Now, a cool thing about that, if I really wanted to, I can erase all that pencil off of that. I gotta do it carefully, but I can erase all that pencil off of that sheet and still reuse it again. So, okay. Now, I'm going to go through and darken up a lot of that, those pencil lines I just put down. And then you're going to start seeing how it all starts fitting in there. And then it's the job of figuring out where the rest of the windows are going to fit. How to measure the distance out properly. And I'm going to show you that, actually. This is where the book kind of comes in handy. But I'm not going to reference the book. I know how to do it. So I'm going to instruct you in how I do it. And you're going to see. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm doing some art tutorials today. Yay! Cause I know you can't really see what I'm doing. I'm not explaining what I'm doing here, but as I go along, I'm just darkening up certain lines, and then I'm going to start adding the lines that I couldn't do with the tracing thing. I want these. Now, actually, I don't need that big one. I'm using this. I'm going to use this triangular one here because it's just I can get to. It has a straighter edge than that flat. Yeah, the other ruler. So I'm going to go and put that rooftop here. And then I'll show you a little close look at that. That one. And it's once I start adding the colors, that's where we're going to see some difference. You know, that's where everything will start coming into focus. Now, the only window areas that I'm sure of right now is there's that. And I'm going to go actually with the long ruler again, just so I keep those all those lines in line. Now these lines up here are just guidelines. I don't know exactly where the windows stop yet, but I will be figuring that out very soon. I just want to make sure everything lines up properly, and so they weren't really lining up. But I'm fixing that right now, making sure all these lines are in the right direction. Okay, so yeah, these lines are important, and I can darken up that line, darken up that line. Keep these all in line. Get in line, lines. And making sure I'm not in the wrong position. I don't need to put that, but I can erase that. I mean, I could have just solved it right there and just draw all the lines out and make it one of those kind of liney buildings with like all windows instead of just all these small individual windows. I think that could be the way to go, but I just kind of want to go with this right now. I still might actually draw out all those lines anyway, grid out the grid, so to speak, so I know where all those lines continue. And actually keep those lines in the finished drawing, because buildings do have that. But I will keep those main squares darker because they will represent the main windows. The rest of those lines are going to represent paneling. It will add texture and a little bit more detail, so I know these windows go to that. And I'm pretty sure that last window, okay, we're going to measure that out. We're going to go from that corner to that corner so I can see where the center is here. And then, how's that going to work? And, okay. I'm just going to, continue those lines going down where following that guideline up there. it's a bit messy here. I don't like that. This is all jumbled up here. Let me make sure I have the proper lines down. Yeah. I'm actually really enjoying doing this. This is kind of the fun part in many ways. Oh yeah, I was going to extend that line all the way down, right? This line right here. Go behind the hands. Continue that line here like that, and that goes behind, yeah. Then I'm going to extend that line down here. All the way down like that. See, I'll be differentiating the windows from the paneling by differentiating the colors. The windows will be a darker, more, yeah. And I will be trying to put some detail into that. So, yeah, okay. Now for my purposes, right? I want to put some more. Okay, let's show you that here now. For my purposes, I want to put more windows on this side and up here. The grid didn't finish that. I got enough for my windows here, which I can start darkening up those main windows. But I'm going to keep all that grid work in there because I think it really does help. I still have to figure out where that line here, but that I can just kind of guess it of where that vanishing point is, and I would say I want to put it right there, and I think that would be good enough. And even put in another line right here, yeah. Even that, yeah. Put a line right there, and that looks right to me. Yeah, right there, like that. Now I got that bottom square. Figuring out these squares. That's the tricky part. How to do it. The best bet would be to use this square here, or try using this and this square. I'm just going to very lightly put in. I'll be erasing the background over his foot so I can see where that window is. Alright, extend that line. Yeah. Okay, so there's a window right here behind that foot like that. Then there's a window right here. And then yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I was talking more, but once I start getting into a drawing, yeah, I kind of start, yeah. Now, there's a window here, and I don't want to draw a window there, but I'm going to just suggest a ledge going around. You'll see how that's going to work there very soon. I like putting it at this angle here, and then I can extend that out to here. And that is going to intersect back to, yeah. So that should be going, yeah, that's going that way. But that line here for this building is on a different trajectory. That would be going this way. That will make it look, if I do put it this way, does it go that way? You know what, I'm just gonna do it. Yeah, okay. That seems right. Then keep that kind of going almost parallel with that, but just slightly off. I'm doing this by eye because I'm pretty efficient. And once I erase the proper line here, you're going to see how that's just going to pop right out. That there is a ledge. Even that line's gone completely. It's going to be just get rid of this ruler, get that little ruler for now, and you're going to see that how that little ledge just popped out in there. I'll give you a closer look. Oh. So, okay, let's see. See that? That little corner there of the building? Isn't that pretty cool? Isn't that pretty good? That's going to add some, just that little extra little realism to it. And like I said, I want to make sure when I put a window in here, it's going to be the right kind of window. I like having that big building right here. I do want to put more windows here. So I'm only going to go for about 10-15 more minutes. I would say 10 more minutes. I'm going to stop this on the hour rather than, continue it. But you see so far how I used the grid to get those windows in the right position. But now I'm trying to I want to figure out where I'm putting those lines. So I'm going to go from this corner, okay, right here, to this corner, right, and very gently draw a guideline like this, okay? And what I'm establishing, and same thing with this here, this line to that line over here, and then I can connect that line to that line and get another little baseline, and that line can be extended throughout. And why is that important? You'll see. So that is another line here. So I can take this line, that going through here, right? So I can take this line and put it right onto that line and get to here, which will bring me that point right there. I know that's my next line, or it should be, but I should be in between there. So I'm going to extend that line a little bit more. Because I think that's where it's supposed to be. I think that's not the grid. When I transferred it on, the grid sort of got distorted just a bit, but it's not a big deal because now that line is important. I know that line is good there, so from there, what do I want to do? What would be helpful is if I knew where the other line is and I could use the vanishing point line, which would be way down here, way below the picture, and then I can extend it to where I know it is. I need to find this line going, oops, sorry. I know. I need to find this line going through here. Because I need to, once I know where this line is here, which I kind of do, and then I'm going to need to extend it with, let's try to find this line here now. If I go and go into the middle, look for the middle here, which I should have done here, because if I extend it from that middle, that is where the line extends to pretty much. Well, it can go in a little bit more. Okay. So if I go from that corner and I extend that line to here, and so yeah, that's it. I think I found that. That's the main thing right here. Now that I found that line, I know that it pretty much extends up. Does it go that far over? No, I don't think so, because the amount of attack just doesn't go way over that much. I am going to kind of curve it up a little bit and put it right here. I think that's where that line would go. It will look right. It will look, you'll be like, oh, it does look right. I see what you're getting at now. And then from here, I can extend that. I'll say that's halfway. I'm eyeballing, of course, you know. And I can put another line here, and I'm going to extend that line going a little like that. Again, I'm eyeballing, but I know around where it's going to go. So if I start darkening in where that inner window is going, which would be like right here, all these lines will be straightened out, and I will be using a ruler the next time I come through here. We're just getting basic guidelines right now of where things are generally going to be going, and I will be fixing all this. Remember, especially once the pen hits that's when everything gets solidified. And see how I easily extended those windows? I used some educated guesses, of course, to get those windows trying to be in the right direction. But that is starting to look very decent, if I do say so myself. Yeah, let me see about darkening up those lines more. I really want these to stand out for you, for everybody, so you see what I'm talking about before I put any of the pen. These I can darken up these lines because I know these lines are, but I'm not darkening them up with the pen yet. I want to continue all the pencils first before I finish up with the pens. I know I really couldn't wait to do Spider-Man up in pen. Oop! I'm sorry, my foot hit the cord of the microphone and the microphone went flying. I am so sorry about that. Let's set that up here again. Right there, okay. And yep, I'm gonna give it another 5 more minutes, and then. But I'm not gonna continue until I'm ready to record again next week, or sooner. So, getting some darkening up as much as I can so that you really see it. And it doesn't matter because it's all going to look cool once it's done up. So yeah. The darker windows, but I will be keeping all those smaller lines, like I say, for the panels. So as you see, sometimes doing a picture, it can take time. I don't want to rush through it, although again I am. But you see how I did just a little bit of cheating with the grids that were already there. But what kind of hurt me with the grids is that I'm using a smaller grid on a bigger picture, and I knew I was using different sizes of this and that to try to compensate. But again, you see how it all kind of did fill out. Yeah, that is looking good. Yeah, dip that down just a touch. So yeah. So there's that building over here on this side. You can see the bottom of it here with the little ledge. A window, the rooftop, which I will be putting another line here to convey that this and yeah. So this line here will have lines going this way, and this thing here will have lines going down this way to give you that ledge, and then there's going to be gravel or whatever you want on top of the rooftop, but there's going to be a little bit of a ledge here, and then I'll figure out what to put on the rest of the but who knows, maybe next time I come back I might say we're gonna start coloring in Spider-Man, but no, I actually kind of want to wait until I figure out what's going to be behind Spider-Man down in this area and back here. But this building, and now it has been established. This building has now been established, and yeah, we're going to come back and finish up with those windows. This is going to be a little bit trickier because again, Spider-Man is hiding a lot of what's behind him. So yeah, it's tricky. I might have to use this. Actually, I might have to use this grid here, this box here, in order to figure out where the next line is going to go. So then I can extend that and then get the. But that's kind of the technique right there. You might be able to see a little bit of that. How and I'll darken it up just a little bit so that you see that normally if you're being precise, which I'm not, and you figure out where that middle is on the picture, okay, you line that up, and that's where the next, to give you an idea, this can all be erased. This is the last lesson, and that would be I'll call that A, B, and then C. Okay. Can you see that? So that point where line A is, okay, if you can find the center of line B, of where B is, that you can find that you'll be able to find that next point of where C is, and that's how you extend your windows. You got to find where the center is from one corner to the center, and you extend that line, and that will find where that next point is going to be on your line. So I'm hoping I can explain that. From point A to point B. Yeah, you find the center here. You'll be able to find this line, so you can go up and draw that grid to where that point would be. And yeah, so because you already all right, so I'm just gonna let you go here. I'm gonna keep that there, and I'll do that a little refresher lesson on that next time. But that's how I find pretty much where my next window is going to start. And even if it's not accurate enough, because like I said, I kind of did it a little quickly. It's still lined up pretty close enough that I think it's working. You know, yeah, it's finding the rest of that is going to be a little bit of an ordeal. But I think my best bet, instead of using this window here, using this block, if I find my center here, which would probably be about here, again, I'm really good. And yeah, and I extend that line up. Yeah, let's do that now before I go. See how that would line up right like that? That would line up. Yeah, that actually, see, that actually fits. Okay? Can you, like, so you see that? From that corner to the center here goes right up to that corner. Like, I pinned it perfect. Like, I guessed it exactly right on. I'll darken that up a little bit. And I'm going to mark them A. Again, A, B, and C. A, B, and C. And then, again, A. This is B. And then here's C. Okay. Now, does that make any sense to you guys? To be able to find this point up here of where that line is going to continue, you have this point over here, this corner here of the box, of the square. You find the center here, or where the center line is, okay, exactly where the center is, and you extend that line up, and if it's on, I still have that line, right? There is where the line is. So I know that is where it extends to that next horizon point. That's how you find the next square up. So there's my first lesson for my tutorial on and yeah. So okay. I am going to leave it here. I hope that was very helpful to you guys out there. And as always, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, have a great day, evening, night, or morning, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.